All right, what is up out there to all of my fellow gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self-proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger, welcome back. Y'all know I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. It is time for Tipsy Tuesday. And tonight we are continuing our discussion about the traits that you need to be an entrepreneur or a small business owner, or if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, small business owner. I will say this though, if you do not have any plans of doing that, these tips and traits and characteristics are still helpful things for you to have. So I think you can gain some information. So last week, we did 7 of the traits. So I'm going to share the remainder that I had because I kind of got caught up in this one. Real quick, though, before we get into it, y'all, let me just check my social media accounts real quick just to make sure everything is going like it's supposed to. All right, I'm good there. And then I'm going to check one other spot and we are going to get into it. I hope everyone has been having a good week, that it's off to a good start. Okay. All right. So it looks like we are good on all channels. Okay. So if you are new to Tipsy Tuesday, basically what I do is I share some tips as we take some sips. So you don't have to drink on anything alcoholic. Tonight I'm actually sipping on some tea. And you might even hear it in my voice. Your girl is getting a little bit sick. So I'm trying to head some stuff off. And so I am being proactive, or trying to keep everything at bay and drinking some tea so that I don't get any worse than what I already am. So I'm gonna try and do as much as possible. I know my voice is kind of going as well, so we'll see. Hopefully it should last throughout the Tipsy Tuesday or whatever. So, but if I sound a little funny, that's why. All right. So I'm not going to do the Tipsy Tuesday song because my voice is already messed up, but I do have some church announcements. So really quickly, I am saying thank you again to all of you who are subscribed to my channel, because y'all have helped me to get to 4,000 subscribers. Yes. So I am so thankful and so appreciative to each and every one of you, all the new subscribers, as well as the people who have been my A1 day ones, who have been rocking with me since the very beginning. Thank you so much for helping me to achieve this milestone of getting to 4,000 subscribers. And I can't wait to hit my next milestone. All right, but let's go ahead and get into it, because y'all, I'm going to try and get through these tips as quickly as possible so your girl can go to sleep, get some rest my voice, and work on getting better and everything, okay? So last week I shared, in addition to me sharing the seven traits that you should have as an entrepreneur, business owner. I also shared with you my entrepreneur journey, okay? And I shared with y'all me owning my business, my own practice right now, as of this moment. That was not my first soiree into entrepreneurship or business ownership, okay? Y'all, I fell down, bumped my head a few times, okay? But look at last week's episode if you want more details about that, as well as if you want to hear about the 7 traits that we talked about on last week, because it was good as we got into it. And also, y'all, always forget, if you enjoyed this content, please be sure to like, share with a friend. And if you are not already subscribed, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. All right. So y'all, I have, y'all, I'm looking at my notes because I told y'all last week I only did 7. I'm trying not to make another part. I got 24 that I need to get through today. 24, but I'm going to keep it quick. Like I said, last week I shared my story, so that took up some time. So we're going to try and hit these 24 traits and characteristics in the next 45 minutes, okay? All right. And let's see. All right. What's up? I see some comments, so let me look at those real quick before I get started. What's up, Still Rocks? He says, we in here. Good to see you. Thank you for always representing. And April is joining as well. Good to see you. Um, April says, so 7 more tonight. April, no, I'm gonna try and hit all these 24. I'm gonna try to hit all 24 tonight. Okay. I'm hoping I don't want to make a part three. I don't want to make a part three. And Still Wax is telling April hello. And then Sarah says, you be on it with those notes. Thank you. I try, y'all. So with the notes, here's what happens, y'all. So y'all, I don't know. Y'all may or may not know. I do like to go walking and stuff like that. I haven't even been able to walk all this week because I've been out of town and stuff like that. But I usually like to go walking. Usually I prefer to go walking outside. And y'all, some of my best ideas come when I'm outside in nature. So usually, or I'm listening to podcasts or I'm listening to books and stuff like that. So as I'm listening to different things or just walking in general, I'll hear stuff and it'll trigger something. So I just pull out my phone and I start taking notes or recording what I'm thinking about. Especially if it's coming too fast for me to kind of write, then I'll just say my thoughts out loud. But yeah, that's where I get it. And then later on, I'm like, I'll look at stuff and be like, hey, you know what? This can be a Tipsy Tuesday topic. And that's pretty much how I get some of the stuff. So I've been trying to be better. And then, oh Lord, Still Rock says, go and say some of those notes for your book. Thank you, Still Rocks. Let me be appreciative of the compliments and everything. Someone else has been trying to get me to write a book, so I should probably take that into more consideration and everything. All right, but y'all, as y'all can hear, my voice is just, it's not the best. But anyway, let me go ahead and get started. The first characteristic or trait that I suggest, or that and these are just my opinion, and y'all can put, if I miss anything, y'all can put down what y'all think I missed and what you think an entrepreneur or a business owner should have. But like I said, I got 24 today, so I'm covering a good gamut of it. But these are definitely things that I had to develop and cultivate within myself, or further build upon in myself and become more aware of. So tonight, the first one for tonight is, the trait is being self-sufficient or self-reliant. Now, the reason why I say that one is, if you waiting for somebody to like come help you in business or entrepreneurship, you might be waiting forever. Now, that's not to say people aren't willing to help you, but also people are more willing to help people who help themselves. So I see this a lot of times in just in some of my side hustle groups that I'm in. People will start a side hustle and they don't treat it like their business. They treat it like a job. Like, and what I mean by that is they're waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. And when it comes to business ownership or entrepreneurship, you cannot wait for somebody to tell you what to do, to give you instructions, to give you all the information. You got to be self-sufficient and self-reliant and start getting that information for yourself instead of waiting for someone else to tell you. And you have to do your own research, do your own digging, because even if someone tells you some information, you still need to fact check it. You still need to make sure, does this apply to me? And I always tell y'all too, just like a few moments ago, I'm like, these are just my opinions of what you should do. You have to decide for yourself if these traits fit you or not, if this is what you need or not, or whatever. You have to still fact check these things for yourself and be like, hey, is this something that I really need? Is this something that I really need to do, or whatever? So as an entrepreneur, business owner, you should be self-sufficient as well as self-reliant. The only person you can really rely and depend on is yourself, especially when things get rough in your business or things get challenging in your business. If you can't even count on yourself, who else can you count on? Now, you can have good friends and family and that kind of thing that will help you out from time to time, or might even be there majority of the time. It just depends or whatever. But that is not always the case, especially if your friends and family are not fellow entrepreneurs themselves, because they might not, they just have a different perspective. And so that's why I say sometimes when people start in side hustles, the perspective they come in as having is not one of self-sufficiency or self-reliancy. They are still waiting for someone to tell you what to do. They still waiting for like that employee manual. And that is not the case. You are pretty much you are pretty much creating your own employee manual, your own systems of operation and that kind of thing for yourself when it comes to your business. So you have to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. So that was number one. The second one I have is you have to be resilient. And what I mean by that is because so many things will come and challenge you. So many things will come and discourage you or deter you, or things just don't go the way you think they should go. And you have to have some kind of resiliency about you, that you are able to kind of like bounce back from any setbacks that you might encounter or any disappointments that you might encounter, because you're going to encounter disappointment. I mean, just like in life, like running a business is just like life. There are going to be disappointments that you encounter. Things are not always going to go the way you want them to go. But in the midst of that, you need to be resilient and still be able to persevere and stay the course and do the things that you need to do. All right. The next thing, see y'all, I'm going through these really quickly. I told y'all I'm not going to be messing around tonight. The next thing that I have, the third thing I have, is that you need to be self motivated. You need to be your own cheerleader. Don't wait for nobody else to hype you up. Don't wait for anyone else to get you all gassed up and excited about stuff. You have to be like literally self motivated. Oftentimes that's because a lot of people cannot see the vision or the plan or whatever the dream is that you have. Like they might say that, oh, that sounds good, that sounds nice, but they don't fully understand or can encompass or comprehend the vision that you yourself might have. So you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be self-motivated, and that goes back to what I was just saying. Like when things don't go the way you want them to go, you are going to have to find a way to like encourage yourself and just like hype yourself up. Be your own hype man to kind of like get yourself through that hump. Now that's not to say, like I said, everything is a balance or whatever. That's not to say you can't be disappointed when things don't go the way it's supposed to be or whatever. Like, yes, feel those emotions, do all those things, but at the end of the day, you got to pick yourself back up and motivate yourself so that you can keep going and get on to the next thing. Last week, I told you what was the first thing I had said was like self-awareness and stuff like that. With being self-aware, you have to know what your triggers are, like what is going to bring you down, what kind of motivates you, inspires you, and that kind of thing. So that if you feel that you are in an area where you're not feeling as motivated, that self-awareness can help you be like, okay, what are the things that I need to do to kind of get myself more encouraged or encourage myself in this next endeavor, because everything is not going to be fun. All the things that you like in my business, there are tons of things that I do on a daily basis that I do not enjoy doing, but I have to stay motivated. I have to stay encouraged and look at the bigger picture of this is why I'm doing certain things. And when things do not turn out the way I want them to, I have to still encourage myself and to stay focused at the mission and the dream that I have for my business. All right, so that leads me to my next trait. These I think I told you last week I didn't really have them in any specific order. So this week I was able to like look at them, and I won't say I put them in kind of order, but I did kind of put them in order where they're kind of like so that they can flow together a little bit better. So the next characteristic I have is you should be self-disciplined. Now, y'all, I struggle. I struggle in this area so much. It's just having that discipline to do the things I need to do. And part of the reason I struggle in this area is because as a business owner, there are so many things that I do need to do. There are so many different directions that I am being pulled into, so many things that I'm being asked about. And I have to be really disciplined not to get caught up. Like I can easily get caught up in the things that I enjoy, like the things that bring me joy. And I will neglect, and I'm talking about in my business, and I will neglect the things that are more, not as fun, that are more tedious tasks, but they are still necessary parts of my business that I need to do, or I need to make sure are implemented. But they're not, they're not the most fun tasks for me to do. They're not what I enjoy doing. So I have to really, really be and y'all, if I'm being honest, I'm still learning how to be self-disciplined. So I will have seasons. I will have seasons of where maybe for like a month or maybe even for like a week or two where I'm really disciplined in this particular area. Usually it's an area that I don't enjoy doing. I'll be really, really disciplined and I'll buckle down and do the things that I need to do, and then I'll fall off or I'll get caught up or whatever. So having that self-discipline is key. But like I told you on last week, that first trait I told you about is the self-awareness. I am highly aware. I told you I'm highly aware of all of my positive traits as well as my negative traits. And I realize that my lack of self-discipline is one of my negative traits. And I realize that I can be disciplined for a period of time, but it's hard for me to consistently be self-disciplined in certain areas of my business. Now, I won't say that I have tried to work on it, even though I know I need to. It's just like I haven't tried to figure out like, okay, what can I do to be more self-disciplined in this area? It's just like when the rubber hits the road, it's like, okay, girl, you don't put this off for too long. Now it's time. You need to just go ahead, do the things that you need to do, and stay focused on the task at hand. Okay. And like I said, I might do good for a couple of weeks. I might do good for a month. And then it's like I fall off, and then I have to regroup, reassess, and be like, okay, girl, it's happening again. You need to get that self-discipline. But that is really key, especially when you're starting a business. And trying to get things in order, because if you are not disciplined to make sure follow through with certain tasks, you will never get started. So but be aware of the areas where you're very disciplined with, and also the areas where you're not as disciplined, and see how how that might affect your business, and do what you need to do. But like I said, it's a journey, because I still struggle in certain areas when it comes to doing what I need to do and being self-disciplined. Now, that was number 4. The next one, number 5, is you should have crazy work ethic. And the reason I say that is because if you are getting into business ownership, entrepreneurship, so that you don't have to work as much, you are sadly mistaken. Not initially, not starting off. You are going to have some crazy work ethic when it comes to running your business, or to have a successful business, because you could work a few hours and your business just might not be as successful, or whatever, it doesn't make as much money. But if you want to have a successful business, you have to put in the work. And I know that kind of goes without saying, but you just like, I don't think people realize how much work goes into running a business if you've never ran a business before. Like, even most days when I come home, like I'm at the office from, usually from like 9 to 5. Some days I'm working later. Like I have a couple of late days where I might be there. Well, I won't say a couple. I have one late day where I'm usually there to like 7:30 or so. So I have a late day. Now that's just me working in the business, okay? Like me seeing my patients. And if you ever read the book, I want to say is the E-Myth Revisited. That is a great business book. And it talks about and I need to reread that again, because it's been at least over 5 years since I read that book. But they talk about or the author talks about working in your business and working on your business. So when I'm in the office, mostly what I'm doing is I'm working in the business. I have to see patients. When I come home, I work 9 to 5, and they have the saying 5 to 9. That 5 to 9, I'm usually working on my business. And by on my working on my business, what I'm doing is I'm coming up with ideas. I'm coming up with like marketing strategies. I am seeing, are we on track to reach our goals? If we are not, what do I need to modify? What do I need to adjust? What upcoming events are going on? Who in the community can I reach out to? Who can I partner with in the community? That kind of thing. Whatever my vision is, because I am trying to do more community partnerships in this particular season in my business. So working on my business is in that aspect, or trying to see, because we're also, we're having issues with hiring and stuff like that. So I'm also trying to see, okay, what do I need to revamp in my training manuals? Do I need to bring on somebody part-time to help out in this area? That kind of thing. That is working on my business versus working in my business. In working in your business is the day-to-day stuff that you are doing, and that is usually what you're doing as an employee. Like, you come in as an employee, you do your job, and then you clock out and you leave, and you don't think about that job anymore. When I clock out and leave, like my office, I'm still thinking about the job. I'm not just, and sometimes I am still just thinking about patients and stuff I need to do for the patients as well. But I also have to turn a switch on that says, hey, how can I be innovative in my business? What went well today in the business? What didn't go so well in the business today? And what changes do I need to make, or what modifications do I need to make? Who do I need? What employee do I need to talk to, or make sure these certain systems are in place and that they're following certain systems, and that kind of thing. So you have to have crazy, crazy work ethic. If you're not really willing to put in the work, then entrepreneurship and business ownership might not be the thing for you. I always say I don't like working the weekends. Like, I don't want to physically be working in my business on the weekends, but I am usually working on my business on the weekends. Okay. Definitely Saturday. Sometimes usually Sundays. That's my chill day or whatever. So I'm not doing a whole lot of work, even though there are certain things that I typically do on Sunday for the business. But yeah, so you are working. And here's the thing. All the work that you put into, like, when you work a regular job, and hey, I worked 40 hours this week, and I'm going to get paid for those 40 hours that I worked. When you're a business owner or entrepreneur, you could put in 40 hours, you could put in 60 hours, you could put in 80 hours a week, and there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee you are going to get paid for that effort that you just put in. There is no guarantee. So that's another mindset shift you have to make as an entrepreneur and business owner. Just because you put in all this work, just because you put in all this time, it doesn't always translate into dollars earned. Okay. It doesn't always equal what you think you're going to make. Now, sometimes you're planting a seed for it to be sown like in the future, and you're putting all these hours in on the front end, and then maybe on the back end, you're going to reap some stuff, or you're going to make some money. But the work you put in initially, it does not always equate to the money or the income or the profit you might generate from putting in all that work. Because there have been plenty of times where I have put a lot of hours in, or I've taken time or dedicated time in a certain area, and it just did not work out. And I think I shared with y'all a while ago, that was my case for me, and it's still somewhat of my case for me when it came to hiring employees. Like, we have not been able to really find great employees or good employees, and I was getting so frustrated because I'm putting all this work in, training these people, going over stuff, revamping the manual and the stuff that we give them to make sure, well, this person got this confused, so let me make sure I spell it out exactly like this, or explain it exactly like this. So I'm putting all these hours in on the back end, just like changing stuff and rewriting stuff and rewriting manuals, as well as putting time in to like physically one-on-one train the person, and then for it not to work out. And it's like, I did all this just for what? For what? And it's still not working. Okay. So just be mindful of that. You have to have crazy work ethic, which also goes back to, you got to be your own cheerleader. You got to be self-motivated, because so many things will discourage you on this journey. Okay. Um, and I'm sorry, y'all. I see I got some comments. I've been talking. Let me look at that real quick. Okay, so April says coming up with ideas can be exhausting. Yes, it sure can. It sure can, April. Now I don't know. Are you talking about because I know I mentioned ideas for like my Tipsy Tuesday topics. Usually, like if I have an idea, if I'm like in a rut when it comes to ideas for like Tipsy Tuesday, because I don't always know what y'all might want to hear, or for me to talk about. Usually like listening to the podcast and just hearing different stuff, that helps spark some of my ideas or whatever. And y'all, I won't say I listen to random stuff, but it can be like random stuff, like stuff that's not even going on in my industry or whatever, but somebody might just say something and it just triggers an idea for me. Now, with my business, a lot of the stuff we do now, I pretty much have a template. Like, I know what we should be doing. Now, implementing those ideas, coming up with ideas is one thing. Implementing the ideas is another thing. But I will say this, coming up with the ideas is, once you have those ideas, and if they're seasonal or regular ideas, it's okay. Just like, a lot of the stores, they're going to have a Black Friday sale. They're going to have a Christmas sale. They're going to have a Memorial Day sale. So it's like, you don't really have to come up with the ideas for that, because you can just look at the holidays and figure out stuff when it comes to that, if that's what you're talking about, April. So for like my marketing stuff, I pretty much have like a marketing calendar where we should be doing certain things each month. Like there should be some kind of sale, promo, or whatever. Now, the implementation, because I am trying to step away from that role of me, because like I said, I'm coming up with the daggone ideas. I'm seeing the patients, and then I was also making sure the sales and marketing stuff was being implemented like it's supposed to. I'm probably going to have to step in and work in that area a little bit more, because the sales and promotions are not being implemented like I would like for them to be. And I'm like, even now, I'm still too hands-on with it. So that tells me I need to, even though we have this marketing calendar and everybody can see the marketing calendar, like, hey, like it's back to school time. We need to have a back to school sale. Like we have this every year or whatever. Like people will see the marketing calendar and know this is what's coming up. But I see that I need to take some extra steps and be like, okay, for our back to school sale, yes, this is the typical special that we run, but this is what you need to be doing in July. You need to be ordering the banners. You need to be posting the flyers. You need to be making the social media posts. And I think I need to break that down week by week of what people should be doing. Which, like I said, I was doing a lot of that on my own. So once I have ideas, it's okay. It's just getting people to actually implementing them and implementing them in an effective manner. Still Rock says, child, y'all, I ain't gonna even tell y'all, but the work ethic is one of the things that I kind of fear. What do you mean you fear? I need some type of accountability. If I'm in an office on my own, I would stare out the window most of the day. No, you wouldn't. Still Rocks. I will say this, and I don't mean to like that, but I mean, yes, and we're going to talk about, that's another trait, is accountability, and that's coming up probably, well, I don't know where I have it listed, but accountability is another one of the traits that you have. But what puts some fire to your behind is when you're not making money and bills are coming in. It's the same fire that, when you got these bills coming in your household and you realize you don't have enough money. Then you start trying to figure out, what can I do? Who can I ask for money? You start getting real creative when you don't have enough money. So if you were truly doing your business, and if it's something that you're passionate about, and it's your only source of income. So that's where it gets tricky. If you have a like a main job, and I think this is why some people don't always treat their side hustles or take them as seriously, because if you have a main job where you know you're going to be getting this regular steady income, sometimes it's hard to stay focused and be serious about your side hustle because you have this guaranteed money there. That was, even though I share with y'all, even though I was working in another office or whatever, when I first opened up my private practice or whatever, it wasn't, that side hustle was just enough for me to pay my bills, like my household bills, not the business bills. With me having a brick and mortar location, it was not enough. It wasn't enough for me to pay, employees and different things that were coming in. So it was like I had to get serious and be like, hey, we got to find a way to make money, or figure out how we're losing money. And some of that too was, like I said, I was way too hands on and trying to do way too many things. We were losing money because I wasn't building stuff. I didn't have time to build stuff or whatever. So even though we were seeing patients and stuff like that, if I didn't bill the patients and they have a certain window for you to bill, you just saw that patient for free. Like you just lost out on money. So just being aware of that, figuring out how am I losing money, how can I make money, where do I need to bring in help or have someone assist me or outsource stuff. And that's what I had to do essentially with my billing, to make sure that we are making enough to cover the bills and on that kind of thing. But it'll put some fire to your behind when you keep getting these bills coming in and you don't have enough to pay. Or like I said, I told you I pretty much drained my savings account initially to make sure my business stayed afloat. And then Still Rocks also says, one of my buddies used to own an insurance agency. He told me he spent most of the days he was in there watching TV. His wife made him find something else. He barely ever made commission. She was like, you just playing. You just here playing. She was like, this is not going to fly at all. And then April says, hold on. April says, just general, y'all, my eyes are so dry right now. Just general business ideas and marketing plans. Sometimes I had to think so hard on the idea, I don't have the energy to complete it. Yes, that's another thing. Once you come up with the idea, trying to implement it and get it in place, that is something totally different. And then April says, I need a marketing calendar. Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have one, April, because you always are coming up with like different things to do. And once you get it set up, it's just really easy because you just keep doing the same thing each month or whatever the month is that you're supposed to do it. All right. And then he says July. Okay, so I'm already behind. You can get caught up though. And then April says, side hustles are my main job, so I should have all the fire in the in the world under my ass. You are killing it though with your with the mystery shopping. So I don't know what you're talking about. And then she also says, y'all, hold on. She says, that's scary, losing money in the business. Yes, thankfully now we're at a place where we are generating money and everything. And then April also says, one of my mother's friends does insurance. She makes like $110 an hour. He was he was just playing. Yeah, he said he was playing. His wife said, you got to find something else to do because this is not it. It is not working. No, I just spilled my tea on myself. All right. Let me get into the next ones that I have. Where did I stop? Oh, crazy work ethic. All right. The next thing I have, this is, y'all, what time is it? This might not work out at all because it says I'm supposed to be, I am like 34 minutes in, and y'all, April might be right. I might have to do a part 3 because this. All right, we're gonna see. I'm gonna try and quickly hit up all of these real quick. All right. So I need to be this. The sixth one is you have to be a self learner. Okay. So being a self learner, and I see your Ella, being a self learner, what that means, and self learner as well as a lifelong learner. What that means is you have to make sure. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I find a lot of people do not do. People think they get into a position and they are like, okay, guys, I think I'm back. All right, I don't know. I had lost my internet connection, but I think I am good now. If y'all can see me and y'all can hear me, let me know. So, and let me see, let me check the other one too, really quick. Yeah, I'll tell you the technology. All right. It don't look like I am good there. All right. Now y'all can, okay, so on YouTube y'all can hear me. If y'all have lost me on Facebook, I am sorry. Hopefully it'll come back. If not, just hopefully you'll know to hop over to YouTube. Yeah. It does not look like it's working. But anyway, all right. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what happened with the internet, but it had went out. Okay, so but let's try, y'all. I got 20 minutes. Well, roughly 20 minutes. Let me see how many I can get through really, really quickly in terms of getting everything done. All right, so I was talking about number 6. You have to be a self-learner or lifelong learner, and pretty much what I was saying, what I was sharing with you is that oftentimes people will get into like an industry or whatever, and they feel like they know everything that they need to know or whatever, and nobody can't tell them anything new. I'm of the mindset that there's always something new for me to learn. There's always something. There's always ways for me to improve. There's always ways for me to be better. Like I don't know everything. Like it's impossible to know everything about a certain topic. Even if you know a lot about something, you don't know everything about something. So Just be a self learner, a lifelong learner, so that you don't get caught up. And I think that's how some companies get left behind, because they are not always thinking about what do I need to learn, what is new out there, what is evolving, what is changing, and that kind of thing. And a prime example is like Blockbuster and Netflix and that kind of thing. Blockbuster, there's not any more Blockbusters because people stop wanting to go to, the video store and rent videos or whatever. And then ultimately things change where you could like just stream videos onto your TV. Originally Netflix started off with you like getting the CDs or the DVDs, I should say, and you renting those, but then they started doing streaming. But also Netflix continued to learn and to evolve and was like, okay, people aren't going to keep just getting streaming and stuff like that of these movies. We should start creating our own movies. So now you have like Netflix series and stuff like that going on as well. So they were constantly learning about their industry, learning how their industry was changing so that they could make the necessary steps to stay ahead of the curve or stay with the curve so that they can make moves and still be relevant in society today. So never stop learning, always be a lifelong learner so that you can stay up on what's going on when it comes to your business and so that you don't get left behind. The next thing you need to be, which also ties in, is have self-development. By self-development, I am big on that. That is just becoming a better version of yourself, and learning more about yourself. So I'm big on that. And that's why like I said, I'm very self-aware, but I also realize too, like there's probably some things about me that I'm not aware of or whatever, or things that I don't do as well, or things that I'm skilled at that I don't really consider it a skill, but others consider it a skill or whatever. So I'm constantly trying to develop myself, so that I can be a better version of myself. So not only should you be learning about your industry or learning about different things and always be a lifelong learner, but also be committed to self-development so that you can always be growing, changing, and evolving. If you're the same person you were last year, that's a problem. If you're doing the same things that you were doing last year, that is a problem, and you have not had any evolution or growth or anything like that. That's the issue. Okay. Well, for me, like that's definitely an issue. It might not be an issue for you, but it's an issue for me because we should all be growing and changing and developing. And if you're not developing, you're not evolving, then it's like, what are you doing? And even if you're the same person you were last month, there should be something new that you learned from last month to this month, from last week to this week. There are things that I'm learning on a day-to-day basis. So I'm always trying to work on self-development so that I'm always learning something new. And I tell mine, since I see a lot of kids in my office, I try to encourage them like to always be wanting to learn stuff and willing to learn, because that's how you grow, essentially. All right. The next thing I have, and this is actually number 8. This is going to be, you need to be adaptable and flexible. The reason I say that is because as an entrepreneur and business owner, so many things come at you at varying speeds, at varying paces, and you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able, I won't say go with the flow, but sometimes you do have to be able to like go with the flow and just, I won't say take things in stride, but also just be able to pivot. Like you have to just be able, like if something is not going like you thought it was supposed to go, you have to be willing to see, hey, what can I do to adjust? What do I need to change? So you have to be very, very flexible in that regard and adaptable in that regard. Now, once again, these things come with like a balance. You don't want to be so flexible. You don't want to be flexible on certain things where you're just like bending and contorting yourself and switching up your business into something that is not even recognizable anymore. You do not want to be, at that point. Like you need to still stay committed to your mission, your goals, whatever you have, that vision that you have for your business. You want to stay committed to that. It's just the pathway that you might have thought that you were going to get to it, that might have to change. The people that you thought were going to help you get to that level, that's what might change. The method that you thought that you were going to achieve these things, that might change. So you have to be flexible in that regard. And just like a quick little analogy, because my daughter, she's about to enter her senior year in high school. And one of the things I have learned is, like, when I was in high school, I won't say the way to kind of get ahead, or the way to get ahead in school, is like you were taking like the college prep classes, you were taking AP classes, and that helped you out to get like a foothold in college, where you didn't have to take as many college classes and that kind of thing. Now, fast forward, it's been over 20 years since I've graduated from high school. Fast forward 20 years later, that is one way to do it. But now they have it where the classes, they're so advanced and stuff like that. Like, by the time she graduates, she is going to have 2 years worth of college classes or whatever. So the way I thought she was going to be, going through college when she was, starting school as like a kindergarten or first grader and stuff like that, that has evolved and changed. And, I have to be like, you just have to adapt and go with the way that things are changing, and be flexible, and realize, yeah, the way that I thought this was going to play out is not necessarily the way that it did play out. But that doesn't mean you still can't reach your dreams or achieve your goals or whatever. It just might not have played out the way that you anticipated it. And part of that could just be because things are just changing, and you have to keep up with the way that things are changing. All right. The next thing that I have, number 9, is you need to be resourceful. And what I mean by that is, when you first start off, you might not have everything that you need. You might not have like a big, I don't know, like, you want to have access to unlimited funds or whatever. You might not have, like, as I was starting off or whatever, I didn't have access to the latest and greatest equipment and that kind of thing. I had to start off with like the basics and then add stuff later on. So you have to be resourceful and use what you got in that moment, and then figure out how you can bring other stuff on. And so even if you do have limited resources, or even limited funds or limited money, you have to figure out, how can I parlay this and make it into what I need it to be? How can I reimagine it or reconstruct it in a way that it looks like, hey, I won't say on equal footing, but I am just as competitive as other people. Okay. So use what you have. Oftentimes what you have is really all you need. And there's so much that you can do with what you have. So sometimes, you might want to have these big grand things, and, you just don't have that, and you just got to use what you have. And honestly, this brings to mind, I'm currently reading Will Smith's autobiography, and he talks about, I haven't gotten through it, I'm almost finished with it, but he talks about in the book, playing the hand that you're dealt instead of trying to play the hand that you wish you had. So that's what happens. Like, you play cards, you play spades, you're like, man, if I only had this, if I had this or whatever, then we could do this and all this kind of stuff. But play the hand of the cards that you've been dealt instead of the hand that you wish you had or whatever. And that's what being resourceful is. Me what you got to get what you need. And then, eventually you will get the things that you need. All right, number 10, and let's see, let me make sure I don't have any comments. Hold on, how did I miss all these comments? Unless this was when I was frozen. All right. All right. April says, I think I really spoke that 7 a week into existence. One way or the other, it's going to be 7. It is not going to be 7. We on 10. Well, okay. We about to be on 10. All right. So this was just when I was frozen, and April saying she hears and sees me. And April says, being complacent is a luxury of the rich. You got to be resourceful if you're poor. You sure do. You sure do. Just use what you got. And y'all, honestly, every time I have used what I had or whatever, I realized that it was more than enough. It was more than enough for the moment, in the time and the space that I was in. Um, you just, yeah, use what you got. You can do so much with the things that you have instead of wishing you had something else. Okay. Now, the next thing, the 10th thing I have is that you need to be courageous. And what I mean by that is, and actually, I think I had it because I just had it listed. Let me see if I had any additional notes real quick in my actual phone. Let me see, where is it? When I say be courageous, I'm saying you have to like step out. No, I didn't. I don't know why I thought I did. You just have to kind of like step out on faith and be willing to do things that other people are not willing to do. Be willing to like open doors. Like oftentimes you are the first person doing something like this in your family. If you're not, then that's great. Then that just means that you have people that you can rely on. But oftentimes you're the first person in your family doing this thing, doing this new thing, venturing into entrepreneurship or starting this business or whatever. And you have to be courageous because you are going into uncharted territory where other people have not been, friends and family may not be able to exactly help you. So you just have to be brave and enter into that knowing I do not know everything. But what I know right now is what's going to help get me to the next step. And then what I learn at that next step will help me get to the next step. So you just have to be brave in that front and realize you are not going to know everything starting off. Excuse me, you're not going to know everything. You're not going to know everything, not just starting off. You're not going to know everything halfway in. You're not going to know everything when you're at the end of your journey. You're not going to know everything. You're just not. And you just have to be brave enough to know that I'm just going to use the information that I have to make the best choice that I can in this particular moment and in this particular situation. But it can be scary, and that's why I say you have to be courageous, because oftentimes you're going where no one else has ventured to go, where no one else has attempted to go, or where people may have attempted to go on and not been successful. So knowing that, you just have to be brave. And like the statistics show, and I think I mentioned them last week, it's like the success rate of small businesses is very, very low. Like I forget what the success rate is in the first year, but I want to say it's like 70% of them small businesses fail within, now don't quote me on that, but I know it's really high. They fail within like the first year. And then from then on, I think it's like, like 50% or something like that within like the first 5 years or whatever. So it's like, you have to be brave, because these are dangerous waters that you are going in if you're trying to make this your source of income or your main business, or whatever it is going to be for you. You just have to be brave and realize, hey, I'm doing this new thing and I have to stay courageous. And even though this is a difficult situation, this is a scary situation, and I don't have all the information that I need, but what I have is enough. Um, which leads me to the next thing. Then the 11th thing is you have to be persistent. And when things don't go your way, when things don't turn out the way they're supposed to, you still have to persist. You still have to go on. You still have to try. And that's what I said too. You got to be your own cheerleader. You still have to find a way to make it work. In spite of whatever happened, you still have to persist. And oftentimes when it comes to you being an employee at a job or whatever, it's easy for you to say, oh, I don't like it here. Let me go leave and find another job or whatever. It's not as easy in entrepreneurship and small business ownership. I mean, yes, you could be like, okay, this didn't work out. I'm closing up shop. I'm going to move on to a new venture. You can do that. Okay. But if you truly believe in the goal and the vision that you have for yourself and for your business, then you stay the course and you are persistent. You don't just easily jump ship or say, hey, at a job, well, I work as an accountant and it didn't work out for me at this company being an accountant, so I'm just gonna go to another job and be an accountant. Like you can't do that. You can't as easily do that when you're an entrepreneur. Okay, you have to be persistent. And that brings me to the next thing, which is number 12. You have to be self-assured. And self-assurance is just like, you have to be believing in yourself and believing in the thing that you need. And you have to be so sure of yourself that nobody can deter you, persuade you, discourage you from doing this thing that you need to do. That's the type of self assurance that you have when it comes to having your own business. Because people will come up and people will, try and say, yeah, you should just get a regular job, or why don't you go work for somebody, or, different things. And sometimes they have, they're trying to have your best interest in mind or at heart or whatever. But you have to be assured in yourself to know this is the goal, this is the dream, this is the thing that I want to pursue, and kind of go forward from there. Okay. Let me see how we looking. Okay, so we are at number 12. Let me see how many more I can do in the next 5 minutes or so. I don't know if I'm gonna get through another 12, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. The next thing you need to be is purposeful. Now that's the one I think I might have some more notes on real quick. Okay, yes. So you have to be purposeful. What I have realized is a lot of people do not have purpose. People just be doing stuff to be doing stuff, and there's no purpose. They have no purpose behind the things that they are doing. And you can't operate like that if you have a small business or if you are an entrepreneur. Because if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, when you look at these other businesses, big businesses, Walmart, Amazon, Apple, Tesla, everything they do is for a purpose. Like, they not just like, it's Amazon Prime. Well, is today Amazon Prime Day or is it tomorrow? I don't know. But I know what Amazon Prime days are coming up or whatever. I know it's like either today, tomorrow, or the next days. Amazon ain't just giving y'all Prime days so y'all can have a deal. I mean, they do want you to have a deal, but there's a purpose. They have a purpose behind what they're doing. They're just not randomly having sales. They're just not randomly doing stuff. And a lot of people are living their life just randomly doing stuff with no purpose. Like, they might think they have a purpose. They might think that they're doing stuff for a certain reason, but there's no purpose behind it. That's why you see people doing some dumb stuff and stupid stuff. And you be like, well, why did they do that? They had no purpose behind, they had absolutely no purpose behind what they're doing. So when it comes to your business, you have to have a purpose. You can't just be doing stuff just to be doing stuff. You can't just have a sale because so-and-so had a sale or whatever. Anything you do, it should have a strategy behind it. It should have a reason behind it. It should have a goal behind it. It should have some kind of outcome that you want to achieve behind it. And that's really in general in life. Like, you should be doing stuff for a reason, for a purpose, and not just to like get by from day to day, which I know life be life in, and sometimes things are hard and people are just trying to make it from day to day. But the things that you're doing on an everyday basis, it should be purposeful, from even like the smallest things we do, like from eating. And I'm bad on that. I shouldn't just be eating just to be eating. I should be eating to like nourish my body, to satisfy my hunger, to try and stay healthy. Like, there should be reasons behind what we're doing. And I think that's also why, people are, I won't say, well, no, I'm not even going to say that, but I'm just going to say there should be a purpose in everything that you're doing. You should know what you're hoping to get out of it. You should know what the ultimate goal is from you taking this particular action. And too many people are just walking around without a purpose. Or maybe they do have a purpose. It's just not a good purpose or whatever. Maybe that's the case. A worthwhile purpose, or what I would consider a worthwhile purpose. So you have to be purposeful in everything that you do, whether it's like hiring somebody, coming up with a marketing strategy, bringing a new product in, that kind of thing. Because I mean, even in my business, I have to be very, very careful with what I'm doing. And when I say careful, is because there are, we sell frames, we sell glasses or whatever. There are salespeople who will come in and they'll have cute frames, they'll have cute glasses, they're nice and they're friendly and stuff like that. But I have to remind myself what the purpose of me getting these glasses are for. Yes, I'm trying to sell them to my clients or whatever, to my patients and my customers, but I can't just be buying all the cute frames that I see or whatever. I have to make sure, hey, okay, they had a whole bunch of cute women's frames, but actually we need men's frames. So our purpose should be to accumulate men's frames. And we can't get caught up in all these cute little women's frames that they are showing us when we really need men's frames in the office or whatever, or we need children's frames or whatever, and we're getting caught up in getting the cute little women's frames, and now we don't have any children's frames or whatever. Anything we bring in or anything we do, it has to have a purpose behind it. So know what your purpose is for your business, and not just on a big scale. Yes, you you may be like, I want to be able to help somebody, I want to be able to serve the community, that kind of thing. Yes, you should have a big purpose, but everything you do on a day-to-day basis in your business as well as in your life, you should know what the purpose is behind it. Okay. All right, so that was number 13. That one took longer than I thought. I'm putting the little marks so I'll know where I stopped. Let me see. April, you were right. Tell me you can do one in 5 minutes. I just talked way too long about being purposeful. And then what do you eat today and tomorrow? I don't know what you're referring to with that, but we'll see. But yes, y'all, there are, I guess it's about 11 or 12 more left. Y'all, I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying, April. Prime Day, today and tomorrow. Thank you. I was like, what are we talking about? We'll see. Y'all let me know if this has been helpful and if y'all want to hear the remaining ones. I think I've given y'all some good ones so far. Like I feel like these are good. I feel like these are good enough. We can stop here, right? Y'all let me know. We don't have to do a part 3. These are good enough for y'all to work with for now if you want to. But yeah. All right. April talking about I would like to hear the rest of them. I know, April. All right, we'll see. I just don't want it to be so long. I just gotta talk faster or talk less or whatever. But I'm gonna end it there so I don't keep y'all any longer than this or whatever. April talking about part 3 and 4. It's going to be a part 3. If we don't get it finished by next week, then I don't know. You'll just have to miss out. But I think I can get them done, especially since I did 13 so far today, and it's a total of 24. 13, yeah. So that's only 11 more. We can get it knocked out. But I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your week, and thank y'all so much for joining. Take care, everyone. Bye, guys.